Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. We are continuing The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. We are on chapter 16, Some Cautions and Concluding Observations. So we have chapter 16 and chapter 17, and we've completed yet another book together, my friends. If you've missed any of the previous readings of this version, we have another version from 2021, I believe, of me reading this book. So this is under the 2025 reading, The Science of Getting Rich, along with many other books on the YouTube channel under the playlist tab. So if you are interested in personal or spiritual development and you want to look at the playlist, there is plenty there for you. But let's go ahead and dive in. Chapter 16, some cautions and concluding observations. Many people will scoff at the idea that there is an exact science of getting rich, holding the impression that the supply of wealth is limited. They will insist that social and governmental institutions must be changed before a considerable number of people can acquire wealth. But that is not true. But this is not true. It is true that existing governments keep the masses in poverty, but this is because the masses do not think and act in a certain way. If the masses began to move forward according to my suggestions, neither governments nor industrial systems could check them. Or like keep them held back. All systems would have to be modified to accommodate this forward movement. I'm interested, leave comments, whatever, any questions, but more so comments like, what did you get programmed with when it came to money? Do you scoff at the idea that there is an exact science? There's a way to think and the way to be to get rich. Do you think this is all just like malarkey? That's what Wallace D. Wattles is asking. Do you think that we have to play within the box that the government and systems keep us in? What do you feel about yourself? What's your relationship like with money? Do you feel stuck? Do you feel like you just can't get ahead? Have you had, hold on, bless me. Have you had experiences like negative experiences, challenges with finances? How has it been for you? Is it triggering? I've been very open, like, ooh, dog, have I had experiences with that? And it's interesting because although I was able to totally shift the way I see money and think about money and attract money and earn money and all of that, when you are always growing and stretching, there's always a new level. And so I think I was sharing this a couple weeks ago of like, I'm so lucky, truly, to be able to earn an income, a great income and a living doing what I love to do. Is it scary at times? Yeah. When you're starting a business, it's a lot of investment, it's a lot of money going out and not a lot coming in. And so you can really get very scared. I had visceral physical reactions, and I can still, when I get fearful or when I'm up against a big terror barrier, as we call it, my whole body will react. You can get nauseous, you can get earaches, you can get headaches, you can get stomach aches. And I used to take that as a sign of like, oh my gosh, this is a sign that I shouldn't be doing this. My body's just, resisting it. It's actually my body breaking through. It's my nervous system feeling very dysregulated, very unsafe because I'm going into an unknown territory. And yeah, we had a really great call yesterday with my group, the Penthouse Frequency VIP. We have 2 times a month. We have 90-minute subconscious reprogramming sessions. And we had such a beautiful, it was like a 45-minute guided meditation. It flew by so fast. But we were exploring counterintentions and the blocks that we have and the sabotaging parts, the fearful parts, the doubtful parts. And I walked them through an IFS parts work. It's a therapeutic modality, parts work, IFS, internal family systems, and just going within to this inner home and identifying what part of me feels fearful and doubtful, what part of me procrastinates, what part of me sabotages. When I think about the goal, when I think about what I truly want in life, what part of me comes up? And it was interesting. I mean, we had, people just talking about I was really young. I was, a young girl. There was a part of me that was a young girl. There was a part of me that was like a young adult. And these parts were just trying to protect me from being ridiculed, from being, shamed, abandoned, whatever it was. And I've certainly done that work myself. So I know that it's extremely powerful. I don't only do it with my, clients and people that I work with, but I do it myself and it's extremely powerful. And I do it almost on a daily basis, but it's that deep root work that we must do. And that's why There's so much free personal development work out there. There's so much free stuff, free content, books. But if this information was the thing that shifted us, everybody would be more successful. And I thought the same way. I was like, YouTube University, free 99. Oh, it was fantastic. It helped me through some dark times. Let me tell you what, it like saved my life. But when I was ready for the next level, and I was really resentful because I said, I know this, I know the material. Why isn't anything changing? Because I wasn't applying it, because I wasn't holding myself accountable, because I wasn't pushing myself. I was staying in my comfort zone. I did not want to get uncomfortable. I did not want to pay to be in rooms. I did not want to purchase the whatever it was. But once you do that, it's a different caliber. It's, first of all, you pay attention, right? They say if you pay attention, all that. It's true. You take it so much more serious. It's like, shit's getting real. And I found that and I've never looked back. Has it been easy? No. But I was just talking with a friend tonight about, another new level. And she's another therapist and I'm so grateful. Whew. And she was just saying, Carla, I hear you talking and there's just like a part of you that is expecting it to be different. She said, what you're doing, you know, a, an entrepreneur basically, right? I still don't see myself as that, but I am, right? I have a business and a company and I left all the security, right, of the salary job and all of that. And I'm doing what I want to do. But it's like floating by yourself in the middle of an ocean. And especially if you were raised with be safe, have security, have a retirement, 401k, make sure you got that good insurance, health insurance, all this stuff. It's like, that doesn't happen when you all by yourself. I mean, eventually you grow into that, but there are times when you don't have those comforts, those safeties, the security, what we are told will keep us safe and secure. And she was just saying, like, if this was easy, everybody would be doing it, branching out on their own, doing their own thing, putting their self out there, taking the risks, falling on their face, looking cringy. And she was right. It just like was really sobering. It just helped me like, yeah, that was the answer. Like there's a part of me that feels like it shouldn't be this hard or I shouldn't feel uncomfortable as I do at times. And it's like, well, would I want to go back to the security of working for someone else and, taking my lunch break and only having the evening for myself? No, I would rather eat glass. But to get my freedom, it's like it's all on me. It's 100% my responsibility. And in theory, right, I always knew that, but now I'm living it. It's experience. It's like, oh my gosh. It's it's jolting to the nervous system, let's just put it that way. So I'm just grateful that I have the regulation tools. I do not know what got me on that tangent, but okay. So I was saying, what's your experience with finances, with money, with abundance? Are you living the way you want to live? Are you doing what you want to do? Are you earning the kind of money you want to make, that you want to earn? Like, do you feel held back? Do you feel stuck? Do you feel like watch all the podcast, listen to the podcast, watch all the videos, read all the books, but yet nothing's really changing? Like it feels really good when you get motivated. That's fantastic. But like, how different is your life from last year? What are you doing now to make your life different in December of this year, right? It's like what we do today will determine how our life turns out tomorrow. And we know this, but like we know it intellectually, but like, are we actually embodying it? Are we living it? Well, look at your results. If results don't lie. And what has really changed since the beginning of this year? Let's think about it. Can't believe it. It's already halfway through the year. Where are we going to be 2026? And I ask myself that all the time. It's like, wow. I'm just looking at this right now on my wall. There's a self-confidence and self-discipline formula, and it's from Napoleon Hill, where we read the 5 different steps to success and self-discipline. And I signed it. I had printed it out, and I'm just looking at the date, July 6th, 2024. That was last year. And I think I have another version that I signed the year before that. But I just look at that and I'm like, okay, where was I last year? I was still working at my job. I was still working at my job. And now I'm not. It's like, look at certain dates in your life. Go in your phone. 1 year ago, how you could look up, let's look it up together. You know, when you can go to your phone and you can look at albums, photo albums. Okay, and then years. Okay, so 2024. Let's see, what date was this? July 16, 2024. I have baby spring mix, which I still eat that. Vegetables in the fridge. That makes me feel good. My nails look great. Happy with that a year ago. But what was I doing? What was I doing? Oh, I started intermittent fasting. And I'm still doing that. I was creating content, some Ho'oponopono stuff in here. Who is this? Oh, okay. I went to a baseball game. Oh, we were in New York for that's when I interviewed my friend. He's a monk. He was in my graduate program, Bante. He came and spoke about mindfulness. It was Grow Rich with Peace of Mind. Wow. Yeah, doing live events. Okay, so that was 2024. What about 2023? Wow. Yeah, I was just starting off my coaching business, like officially. I turned 40. I was in Hawaii. I went to Hawaii on my own. And then 2022. Yeah, I've just been grinding. Look at me. I'm proud of myself. hmm I got licensed as a therapist. No, that was back in 2022. Wow. What about 2021? I hope you guys are being entertained. Oh, that's when I moved. Ooh. You guys, look at this street. You'll appreciate this gym. Remember that? You can't make that up. Rock Bottom Way. Rock Bottom Way. I didn't live on Rock Bottom Way, but I lived on the street right next to it. That is hilarious. Yeah, that's when I decided to go all in. And I was in graduate school. I didn't have a job and I had to pack up and make things happen. And they're still happening right now. But that's when the journey really began, you know? So, yeah, that was the moment that I realized I had to get uncomfortable because I'd been living a certain way for years, almost 2 decades. And I was really stubborn. I wanted to keep everything the same as it was and build my business, but I just had to be honest with myself. And I remember asking Bob Proctor, I was like, I really want to keep my apartment in Los Angeles. And he's like, well, what do you want? I was like, I want to keep my apartment. And there was this program I was going to do. And he's like, you got to make a decision, like temporary discomfort for what you want type of thing. He's like, never put yourself in a situation where you can't pay your bills, but like, the long game, what you want eventually. So like, what are you going to do? And I made some big decisions. So, and it was uncomfortable and it was scary. And I don't know, I still feel like although I'm growing and a lot has changed, I'm still growing into it. And I wouldn't have it any other way because it's like, what's the option? God, what's the option? I would still be at a therapy practice working God knows how many hours a week, just living for the weekends. I mean, that was my life. So, anyways, all right. So he's saying all systems, if everybody woke up and realized that they had control over their finances, the systems would have a rude awakening. If the people had the advancing mind and had faith that they can become rich, nothing could possibly keep them in poverty. Individuals may enter upon the certain way at any time and under any government and make themselves rich. And when a considerable number of individuals do so under any government, they will cause the system to be modified so as to open the way for others. Yeah, I remember Bob always used to say, you create your own economy. No matter what economy is going on, no matter who is in office, no matter what's going on, you can make your own economy. And that's the truth. No matter even the worst case scenarios, think about COVID, think about God, 100 years ago during the Great Depression. That was when the most millionaires were made. It's it's a time of great stress and pain and struggle and fear, but it's also in times of great growth and opportunity. And not like to be opportunistic and take advantage of people, but to grow and meet the needs, the new needs that are coming up due to this massive change that causes a lot of fear. So it's like, what product, what service, what can you do to help? and provide for other people, that they would be willing to pay and invest, and it would help them eventually. That's what this book is really about. The more people who get rich on the competitive plane, the worse for others. The more who get rich on the creative plane, the better for others. The economic salvation of the masses can only be accomplished by encouraging a large number of people to become rich by practicing the scientific methods set down in this program. These people will show others the way and inspire them with a desire for real life, with the faith that it can be attained, and with the purpose to attain it. We must, well, we don't have to do anything, but we can get rich on the creative plane, being creative. We're all creative. If you don't think you're creative, that's ridiculous. Tap into the childlike wonder. What do you love to do? Use ChatGPT or whatever you feel comfortable with. Like, start researching, like, just have fun with it. You know, do what you got to do before you can do what you want to do, but like, find a creative outlet to do what you love to do and that people would love. Like, you have to sell yourself first. What would you buy from you? You know? Because if you don't believe in your own product or service or just your own brand, nobody else will either. You got to believe in yourself. That's where the faith comes in. And we talked about that a couple chapters ago. Complete and utter faith in yourself. So the more people that get rich on the competitive plane, the worse for everyone. The more who get rich on the creative plane, the better for others. The economic salvation of the masses can only be accomplished by encouraging a large number of people to become rich by practicing the scientific methods set down in this program. For the present, however, it is enough to know that neither the government under which you live nor the capitalistic or competitive system of industry can keep you from getting rich. I understand. I was ignorant. I didn't know what it meant when I was like, especially my teen years, when people say, oh, capitalism or socialism and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I know now, but the United States of America, at least, is a capitalistic country, and we were built on it, and it is a free country, and we can do whatever we want. But I'm not sure, and I get why people demonize capitalism and the word, all that stuff, but I just encourage everybody to listen to people who demonize anything, not just capitalism, but anything. You know, think for yourself, practice accurate thinking. All right. So nothing can prevent you, no matter what kind of government you live under, you can get rich, especially a free country. When you enter and it's not going to be equal for everybody. It's not fair. It is not fair, but we all have the same creative spirit, and vibration is real, the energy with which we come after it. Because in the world, especially of like arts and acting, I worked with a lot of actors who, not just therapeutically, but for coaching too. And it was all about the belief and the faith in themselves, no matter where they came from, their shape, size, color, creed, no matter what. And we just looked at so many different actors as proof. Like, I always use Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones. People thought that, you know, what is the term? Is it little people? I'm not sure. Pardon me if I'm ignorant to the politically correct term, but that they were only cast as, you know, clowns or jokes or, you know, trolls or whatever, right? It's just very not taking it serious. But he flipped that on the head. And I'm sure there's other actors in his same category, but he just really stands out. And he is what he believes he is. Or people who are heavy, like severely overweight, like I mean, I don't know, severely overweight, but like, who was the girl? She had never acted before, and like well, maybe she acted, but she went on that audition, Gabourey Sidibe, and she won an Oscar. Didn't she win an Oscar? And it doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't. It's if you believe it, because think about it. The storytellers of this world come in all shapes and sizes. And like, not everybody wants to be a cover model. Not every actor is one. That's for sure. And so if you have or musicians, right? If you have a talent, you just have to believe you can do it. And that's what makes or breaks anybody. That's what makes or breaks anybody. All right. So when you enter upon the creative plane of thought, you will rise above all the things and become a citizen of another kingdom. Like whose rules are you playing by? Do you have faith in these rules or in these rules? You know, I believe it's the connection with God, your creative, powerful source that's always with you. Either you're tapping into that source or you are trying to grab and steal from this source. But remember that your thought must stay on the creative plane. You are never to regard the supply as limited or to act in a competitive manner. Whenever you do fall into old ways of thought, correct yourself instantly because when you are in the competitive mind, you have lost the cooperation of the supreme power. So don't let other, especially like even with other coaches, like I'm doing the Safe to Be Seen. It's a 16-week program, and it's for creators, coaches, therapists, consultants, or anybody that wants to put themselves out there, has a message, an author, speaker, you know? And I get the same feedback all the time. Number one, I'm afraid to put myself out there. I'm afraid of what other people think, criticism, judgment, looking cringy. I don't like selling. I feel guilty, blah, blah, blah. What else? There's too many people. It's oversaturated. That is the competitive plane. If you are in that industry, the only reason why you see it being so saturated is because you're in that industry and that's this kind of stuff that's attracted to your algorithm. But the regular person needs this. And think about what their algorithm is filled with. Like like my sister. I bet you, well, I already know on her For You page, it's like dogs, Disney, you know, Disneyland, puppies, recipes, chocolate. But healthy living, kids, you know, cute stuff like Amazon stuff for her kids. But like, I guarantee there wouldn't be, besides me, anybody that talks about personal development because it's just, she's not into that. Like, she is not a teacher of that. She's into it clearly, but like, her page isn't so filled with it. Mine is because that's the industry I'm in and that's just what I'm obsessed with. And that's like the only thing that's in my feed. But just know that there is not an oversaturation. There is creative blue oceans all over. If you wanted to start a podcast, a YouTube channel, they should be, you know how there's like a Starbucks on every corner? What is this? This is a feather? That's interesting. Maybe it's from my pillow. Anyways, what was I saying? It'll pop up like toast. Oh, you know how there's Starbucks on every corner, or like at least here. Um, there needs to be a coach on every corner, a therapist on every corner. Truly, there is not enough. Ugh, the statistics that are out there as far as like mental health and well-being and people who are, you know, depressed and anxious and lonely and fearful and, you know, afraid to step out of their comfort zone and people are so hungry for change and to feel alive again. They ain't enough coaches out there. We need more. We need more. Because when people are ready for change, they're ready for change. And you might be the person, you might be that voice that they want to reach out to. So if there's anything that you know, like a message that you want to share, got to share it, especially if you've been through some stuff. And usually people who are, you know, drawn to personal development, they've been through some stuff and they came out the other side stronger and they've learned lessons. And it's just, you got to be one step ahead of the person you're helping. Just reach back and help them, teach them how you got through it, whether it be just through, you know, a positive mindset, certain lessons from books you have read, teaching it in your own way, putting your own spin on it. You know, there's not enough help out there like that. We need more. So remember that your thought must stay on the creative plane. You are never to regard the supply as limited or to act in a competitive manner. Whenever you do fall into old ways of thought, correct yourself instantly because when you are in the competitive mind, you have lost the cooperation of the supreme power. All right, we can finish the rest tomorrow. There's only, oh, let me read another page because this is not another page, but let me just finish this page. So don't fall into old ways. You'll lose that connection with the supreme cooperative power. Do not spend any time in planning how you will meet possible emergencies in the future. You should be concerned with doing today's work in a perfectly successful manner, not with emergencies which may arise tomorrow. You can attend to them as they come. So don't, I am guilty as charged. When you're going after something, it's like thinking of like the worst case scenarios or like what can go wrong and like preparing for these emergencies. Like if an emergency pops up, yeah, sure. But if they're not there yet, don't be entertaining them. Have full faith that everything's going to work out. And of course, if something doesn't, be normal and figure it out. FIO, right? It's like deal with the emergency when it pops up. But don't dwell and prepare for the worst. Don't expect bad things to happen because you always get what you expect. Don't ever expect anything you don't want, and don't ever want anything you don't expect because you get what you expect. So don't ever want anything that you don't expect because whatever you're focused on, and that's what your expectation is, don't ever want anything you don't expect because if you truly want it, expect it. And don't ever expect anything you don't want because you're going to get your expectations. Do not concern yourself with questions of how you will surmount obstacles which may loom upon your business horizon. Ignore these questions unless you can plainly see that your course must be altered today in order to avoid these obstacles. No matter how tremendous an obstruction may appear to be at a distance, you will find that if you continue in the certain way, it will disappear as you approach it, or that a way over, through, or around it will appear. No possible combination of circumstances can defeat a man or woman who is proceeding to get rich along strictly scientific lines. No man or woman who obeys the law can fail to get rich, any more than one can multiply 2 by 2 and fail to get 4. Give no anxious thought to possible disasters, obstacles, panics, or unfavorable combinations of circumstances. There is time enough to meet such things when they present themselves before you in the immediate present. Yeah, until it comes at your door, right? Do what you can. If you know it's coming, prepare. But if you think maybe it might, don't start preparing for a maybe might. You never know how things are going to change. You never know how things can change. So yeah, don't start panicking for combinations that might happen in the future. There is time enough to meet such things when they present themselves in the present moment. You will find that every difficulty carries with it the wherewithal for you to overcome it. Guard your speech. Never speak of yourself, your affairs, or of anything else in a discouraged or discouraging way. Never admit the possibility of failure or speak it in a way that implies failure as a possibility. Yeah, just watch your mental diet, watch your speech, watch your affirmations, watch your thoughts. You know, how are you talking with friends? Who are you talking with, right? Like, what friends are you talking with? Never speak of the times as being hard or business conditions as being doubtful. Times may be hard and business doubtful for those who are on the competitive plane, but they can never be so for you. You can create what you want, and you are above fear. Yeah, it's a state of mind, y'all. It is a state of mind. All right. I'm using my Mindset Reset bookmark. Remember, I did this back in, I think this was 2022 or 2021. My in-person Mindset Reset at the beginning of the year. I love that. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. I am going to go to bed. I'm tired. It's 9:42. All right. I hope you have a beautiful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.